US President Donald Trump has now stated that the United States wants to help China and not hurt it. This has come days after he threatened to impose an additional 100% tariff on China. Trump has stated that he highly respects President Xi Jinping and just had a bad moment, and he does not want to put China into economic depression. Meanwhile, US Vice President J.D. Vance has warned China to choose the path of reason, stressing that the United States holds stronger leverage in the dispute. Vance has stated that the Trump administration hopes to avoid a full-blown trade conflict, but would not hesitate to defend American interests. With us on the broadcast is Mr. Andrew K.P. Leung. He's a strategist focusing on Chinese policy and economics, joining us from Cairo. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. Interesting post by Donald Trump on his Truth Social platform in all capitals. Once again, he's called Xi Jinping a highly respected leader, but at the same time, he's taken a thinly veiled jibe, stating that the United States does not want to hurt China, indirectly demanding that China comes back to the negotiating table. Do you think China will relent in light of the tone that Trump has struck?
Well, this is another example of how President Trump is massaging the narrative. Let's not forget, only a few days ago, he was threatening to impose 100% tariffs on China, saying that it doesn't want, this is no point in meeting President Xi, and he's describing China as the continuing a threat to the United States interest. And then only a few days later, he's changing his tone again, but still trying to massage the rhetoric as if China is the demandeur for a more positive relationship, in the sense that China is the weaker party. But the other side of the coin is true, in the sense that Trump, it was President Trump himself who wanted to meet President Xi quite eagerly throughout the past couple of months. And it was he who said that he wanted to have a positive relationship with Beijing, until Beijing showcased its resolve to defend its own China's national interest by finding the stranglehold over rare earths. And the rare earths are so important to American interests because something like 78% of the United States military relies on these rare earths, and there is no way that President Trump could defeat China's this Trump card. And that's why this is an example of President Trump kicking out again, the so-called TACO, Trump always chicken out. This is another example of that. But then he's trying to massage the rhetoric as if China is the weaker party, and he refers to the Chinese economy. In fact, if you look at the latest statistics, China's export overall has in fact grown under the past couple of months, in spite of the past couple of months of tariffs and so on, because China has been pivoting to the global south. And the global south is a huge market out there. And then there's a great increase in trade and investment, especially after the Trump tariffs, which are affecting the global south as well. And of course, for technology, China has now demonstrated its technological self-reliance, witnessed DeepSeek in AI, and China's success in launching its own space station and sending samples at the back of the moon. So I think that this is an example of President Trump very successfully in massaging the rhetoric. He wants to showcase his still on top of everything, including this tariffs and rivalry with China. And then he's changing his tone because the Gaza situation is also changing. He wants to put his name on the Gaza situation, and he doesn't want any acrimony with President Xi to spoil his moods. And that's why he changes his face, his tone so rapidly. Another example, as I said, of the TACO, Trump always chickens out phenomenon.
Indeed, and what's also interesting is, Trump has stated that the United States does not want to hurt China. And this comes over and above his statement that Xi Jinping is having a bad moment. Is he, and considering that Vance has also made similar statements, is he trying to position the United States as having leverage in this trade war? And is that the reality, or does China have the edge, or at least the capability to stand up to the US?
Well, of course, every country is affected by Trump's tariffs, including American allies, because America, after all, is the largest economy in the world. But on the other hand, China is also the world's largest trader, the largest manufacturer by far, and it's got as deep as the predominant position in the group and supply value chain. So even though any pain China is suffering is very different from other countries. And in fact, as I mentioned before, statistics show that China's overall export has been increasing by pivoting to the global south, and China demonstrates stability on its technological self-reliance. In fact, and it was President Trump himself who wanted to meet President Xi, but he said that he doesn't want to hurt China. But on the other hand, apart from the tariff, he forgot to mention that only recently, days ago, he is instituting massive shipping charges on any ship made by China regarding which flag is carried, provided that such China-made ship called an American port, they're going to pay huge shipping fees. So that's another example of an all-out confrontation with China, which is perceived to be existential threat to American dominance. It's not only tariffs, but it's also shipping charges, technological stranglehold. There's still a lot of restrictions and banning various technologies, and also allying with Japan and other countries in the South China Sea to contain China. So this is a part of the overall Trump's overall strategy to win the kind of rivalry with China for global dominance. Again, he successfully tried to massage the rhetoric as if China is the demandeur, and he's winning on all fronts. Mm-hmm. But the reality is far from what he makes it out to be.
All right, sir. With that, I would like to thank you for taking out time, sharing your perspective on NewsX World. Shifting focus to France, the French presidency has announced that reappointed Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu's new cabinet lineup, with most top jobs remaining unchanged at a time when opponents are demanding a political shift in order to win their support for urgent budget talks. Now, Lecornu, who was reappointed as the Prime Minister, has pledged to deliver a cabinet of renewal and diversity, but stuck with his previous picks for most of the choice of the top jobs. Now, it remains to be seen if Lecornu's new cabinet will satisfy the opponents. Now, the hard left France on board LFI has stated that it will file a motion of no confidence, as did the far-right National Rally, meaning that the new government will face a nail-biting vote before the end of this week itself. All right, viewers, breaking news.